My greenhouse was a graveyard of glass, and Karen stood there, clutching my rare orchids like a trophy. I'd caught her red-handed, but her smirk said she'd already won. For years, I'd poured my soul into this farm, coaxing life from soil that hadn't seen rain in months. My heirloom flowers, orchids, roses, and lilies were my pride, my livelihood, and the only thing keeping my family afloat after Dad's passing. Karen, the HOA queen with her manicured claws and gated community crown, had been sneaking onto my land for months, snipping blooms to flaunt at her garden club. She called it borrowing. I called it theft. Last spring, I'd let it slide, too tired to fight her petty games. But this time, she'd gone too far, smashing my greenhouse in her frenzy to grab more than she could carry. Shards crunched under my boots as I stormed toward her, heart pounding like a war drum. "You think you own everything, don't you?" I shouted, my voice raw from rage and dust. Karen didn't flinch. She adjusted her sunglasses, her stolen bouquet tucked under her arm like a clutch purse. "These weeds," she sneered. "They're better off with me. Your farm's an eyesore, Jake. The HOA's already drafting fines." Her words stung, but the wreckage around us hurt worse. My orchids, some worth hundreds, lay mangled in the dirt. Months of work, gone. I could see my sister's college fund wilting with them. Karen's entitlement wasn't just stealing flowers, it was strangling my future. Neighbors started gathering, drawn by the commotion. Mrs. Carter, who'd lost her roses to Karen's borrowing last year, whispered to her husband. Tom, the mechanic, pulled out his phone, filming. Karen didn't care. She stepped closer, her perfume choking the air. "Sign over the land, Jake," she hissed, "or I'll make sure you lose it all." I was done playing nice. "You're on my property, Karen. Get out, or I'm calling the cops." Her laugh was sharp, like glass breaking. She turned to the crowd, playing victim. "He's threatening me," she gasped, clutching her chest. The neighbors shifted, uneasy. I could feel the tide turning. Her lies were slick, practiced. My hands shook, but I held my ground. Then Tom stepped forward, phone still rolling. "Check this out," he called, holding up the screen. Footage from his security cam showed Karen sneaking through my gate at dawn, pruning shears glinting. The crowd gasped. Mrs. Carter chimed in. "I saw her take my tulips last week." Others nodded, their own grudges surfacing. Karen's smirk faltered, her eyes darting like a cornered animal. That's when I saw her purse, spilled open in the scuffle, revealing a stash of my flowers, my tools, even my custom fertilizer bags. Proof undeniable. I grabbed the bag and held it high. "This is my life you're stealing," I warned. The crowd surged, their murmurs turning to shouts. Karen backed up, tripping over a shattered pot. "You can't prove anything," she stammered, but her voice cracked. Tom kept filming, zooming in on her guilty hands. I dialed 911, my voice steady now. Trespassing, vandalism, theft. Karen's reign was crumbling. The cops arrived fast, lights flashing against the dusk. They cuffed her as she screamed about lawsuits, her bouquet crushed underfoot. The neighbors cheered, but I felt hollow. My greenhouse was still gone. As they hauled her away, Karen spat one last venomous promise. "I'll be back, Jake. This isn't over." I didn't reply. I just stood there, staring at the wreckage. The cops found more stolen goods in her car plants from half the county. She'd been running a black market flower racket, selling our blooms online. The HOA stripped her of her title that night, and her fines piled up faster than mine ever could. Weeks later, I rebuilt the greenhouse with help from neighbors who'd once stayed silent. Mrs. Carter brought cuttings. Tom fixed my tractor. We planted new seeds, but the scars remained. Karen's greed had cost me more than money. It had shaken my faith in fairness. Yet, as the first orchid bloomed again, I realized something bitter but true. She'd lost more than I ever would. Her empire of lies had withered, while my roots were growing back stronger.